Good evening. Welcome to Ghost Town Poetry Open Mic, which happens on the second Thursday of every month. That's what we've been doing since November 2004, and we're sticking to it. Find if you're on the same night of the month every month. It helps people to find you, so that was the idea originally. We've got a great feature tonight, and we've got a lot of people on the open mic, but as I always do, we're going to begin with some work by others. And we have a couple of dedications tonight. The first dedication is to Vern Ritsala. He was born in Idaho and earned his BA at Reed College, his MFA at Iowa Writers Workshop, and taught at Lewis and Clark University here for over 40 years before retiring in 2004. We lost him within the last, week or so, and many of the people that, I didn't know the man personally, but of course I had heard his name, and many of the people I know that do know him personally, they spoke more about just what a generous and wonderful man he was. But I decided to open with one of his poems so that some of you, including me, who maybe are not familiar with his work, could start to get familiar with it. And he was published in Poetry Magazine more than once. And this is a poem that was published there in the January 1972 issue, called A Secret Army. Behind drapes and Venetian blinds, with slats pursed tight even at noon, secret armies of naked women await. Listening for the exciting foreplay of a finger on the doorbell, for the quiet entry through the pantry, the click of the milk box lid. In every city, they lean in their wing chairs all afternoon with all their skin showing. Dim patches and moles the sun never sees, caged and longing for the canvasser, the random candidate with his little slick brochure. They loll on couches, houses unmarked, fuses through the suburbs, skin prickling for the blush of pressure marks, lips swelling as their time runs out, the tension of their nipples stretching boundaries of neighborhoods, the whole country filling like a balloon with their short breaths. But what regiment of delivery boys can deliver them from this? The need that burns them nude in houses locked hard against daylight.
Sure, thank you.
Though maybe they parade only for their homely paramours, washer and tall straight freezer, wanting no handyman's hot receipt, but day after day asking only to be touched by those cool enamel hands behind their blinds, thick as stone. That's Vern Ritsala. I don't know if I misinterpreted the poem, but I related to the poem right away as a person who was a 13 or 14-year-old newspaper carrier. It sounded a lot like some of the thoughts that ran through my head as I was delivering those papers.
You were a newspaper carrier?
I was, no, it was a good one. It's hard to be a bad newspaper carrier, I guess, unless you don't bring it to the right house or you hit the window or something. Yeah, it's not bad. And there's Christmas tips, which are always a nice thing. The other dedication we have is to our dear friend Constance's mother, who passed away recently. And I asked her if there was anything that her mother might, that might be an appropriate tribute to her mother, and if I could read something like that tonight, and she said that I could. So this is a song from the movie Funny Girl, and it's called People, and I'm going to read it to you. People who need people are the luckiest people in the world. We're children needing other children, and yet letting our grown-up pride hide all the need inside, acting more like children than children. Lovers are very special people. They are the luckiest people in the world. With one person, one very special person, a feeling deep in your soul, says you were half, now you're whole. No more hunger and thirst, but first be a person who needs people. People who need people are the luckiest people in the world. And it's dedicated to your mom. One of those things that I say a lot and that probably people get sick of hearing is poems are songs and songs are poems. So I think reading songs out loud every once in a while is a good practice too for us as poets. And thank you for allowing me to honor her in that way, especially those of us that were not fortunate enough to know her any way that we can express to you that we are sorry for your loss and that we feel that too. I would like to, extend that on behalf of the community to you, so, and your family. And so, to get into the open mic, we've got a lot of great people signed up to read. We'll begin this evening with Ian King.
Thanks, Christopher. Thanks, everybody. I'd like to start by reading tonight with a dedication of my own to my dad's right leg. He just had it removed, so now he doesn't have any legs. Well, he's got legs, but just below, just they're both below the knee, and he lost his left one about 10 years ago, and now he lost his right one, and so we don't know how much longer we can have him around, but we're hoping we can keep him around for quite a while. But it's something you don't go through alone, so it's kind of a thing. I'm going to read 2 poems tonight. They're 2 new poems. This one's called Water Closet. My dog has been pissing in the house again, just on the corner by the front leg of our piano, that one that nobody ever plays. And I can't really blame him, locked in the house all day. I'd probably find a place to go too. But that spot, it's where the carpet is turning all kinds of shades of orange. Yet I don't think it's a lot, just a bit to keep his wiener from rotting off, stuck in the house all day. While everyone else is out looking for work, or working, or going to school. What is he doing, pissing on my piano? At least the cat has a place to go. Her cat box stuck in the bathroom, turned laundry room, now turned cat water closet. And this one's called New Operating System. This is part 1. There is a history here, not a love-hate relationship, but a do-as-I-say relationship. That old system would take records from my vinyl collection and digitize the analog sounds, then let me process them. Separate the tracks using Sound Blaster X-Fi. I never did rip that old Christmas Mass. It was an upgrade from Windows 2000 to XP. Now everything's an X, Generation X. And 2. And these photographs we take, these pictures we keep, they are just there to remind us of how far we've gone, how far we've come, you and me, not far enough. But I'm on Apple products now, just as everyone else is switching to Samsung or Android. Can you Google it? Where were you last night when I was with you? Or this morning, can you even Google that? We haven't really been here that long, have we? 3. I need a new operating system, one that won't keep me up all night, one that won't make me sleep all day. Do you know how much it took to transfer all those pictures and then still come back for the important stuff like the music? Had to get a new iTunes account, but did not want to lose our old playlists like the one I put together for our wedding. I only have eyes for you, and this is important stuff to me. I mean, it's no annexation of a sovereign state, but I mean to annex your sovereign state. 4. We needed an external hard drive to back up all our old files. That I understood. That was the easy part. All those old Thomas the Train and Polar Express pictures. That Halloween in Campbell when our son was dressed as Superman and our daughter the Pink Panther. We couldn't let that get corrupted. 5. Nonfiction and travel writing, submissions to literary journals, essays and fiction, poetry, statement for record clearance, letter to credentials department regarding misdemeanors, letter of resignation, Clark Pest Control, Anchi Min essay, bio for Christian's textbook, James Joyce term paper, Jim Carroll essay, Mark Doty essay, rental agreement docs, Elizabethan term report, Grand Theft Auto 3 cheats, Department of Structural Pest Control letter, statement of rehabilitation, passwords and accounts, Bloom's taxonomy, federal taxes 05. This is all important stuff to me. 6. And then this month-long process, moving to Windows 8, uploading all our files, or pictures and our music. There was something there. No, not a relationship, like in that Spike Jones movie, but there was something in those 8 years. And then how quickly we went to 8.1, just effortlessly. I think that's sarcasm, FTW. No, I wasn't in love, but there was something there. That ability to digitize records and old tapes from my bands back in high school. 7. We upgraded our OS, put all our files on a portable zip drive, and then zip, they migrated to this new system. And there you were. There you were, back in 2006. There you were. When you were only 3 years old. There you were. And your sister and I. And your sister was only 1. There you were. Thanks.
And see, and then next we are going to hear from Steve Williams.
The older you get, the harder it is to get all the way. Anyway.
What was that?
Stuff in it.
I have this event. We have this event. Yeah, next week, the 15th, Tax Day. We are celebrating the new Orange Line train route from PSU to Milwaukee, and the project of putting 50 character or less poems along the route stamped into concrete. It's Margot.
I don't want to be stamped in the concrete. Maybe sometime, but not right now.
Snuck in. And so we're going to have a reading of all those lines in geographical order from PSU to Milwaukee, with a few stops to go over the river line. And TriMet will be there with some historical data, and the 2 people who put the whole project together will be there. And I don't know what we're going to do, because we didn't figure that out Sunday. So it'll be fun. No open mic, though, sorry.
Where is it from?
I have no idea.
Well, we'll be there.
Okay. Herb knows where it is. It's on Killingsworth and Williams in North Portland, at a place called In Other Words, or Women and Women First if you like Portlandia. Same place, different name. I have this little poem. It's not even a half a page. I don't know if I should say anything. Okay. It's anaphora, which is, for those of you who want to know about anaphora, you use the same phrase a lot, like every line. Or almost every line. You start every line. Okay. Out of Country is the title. Out of car washes, windshield wipers, and pin-up girls. Out of lawnmower blades and toaster ovens. Out of coffee, aluminum siding, and neighbors. Out of daylight. Out of your depths. Out of the cattle car and into your brain bucket, your ant farm, your gun club. Out of bread, strategic bridges, jungle rot. Out of marching and reasons for bullets. Out of musical theater, video games, and body bags. Out of excuses, out of place. Out of uniform, ammunition, and back into the world. Back into iPads and 4G LTE. Into trying to stop saying sir and failing. Out of peace, out of your mind, out of war.
And our next reader has been a loyal contributor to this series since he was 4 years old, Angela Luna.
What have you done with Angelo? This tall. Last week.
Not as tall as you. Alright, so tonight I have two. This first one, I have no idea what it is. I created it, so let's... Alright. It's called My Spirit. I am purely a lost soul, disembodied, disemboweled, and decapitated. The dark space, the void, the medium, the other side, whichever you prefer to call it, is not kind to folks like me. I can't move on. I'm stuck, trapped in an ironic paradox, always beginning and ending simultaneously. I can't leave until the cycle of emotion is complete. I must know whether the feeling is mutual or not. And my maiden, my fair, lovely mistress, dark and mysterious, is the end. I am in love with the darkness, but I do not know if the darkness feels the same until I'm there, or how this universe is a cruel bastard. My unlife, my broken soul, never moving on because I'm stuck. And the thought of ending up with my lover, the chasm in which the beasts of the night hide, this snarl is keeping me here, forever trapped in love, a broken cog in a machine that will keep running without me. It's over for me, and yet it is still just the beginning. Alright, this next one is the poem heard around the world. It's kind of my thoughts of what we are doing here with our community. Alright. A key, a genetic form, screaming, kicking, turned into a beautiful, thought-provoking being. A conduit for ideas and for hope. The parasite called connection, expressed through poetry and song. Thoughts running through several host platforms, like electricity through wires. The notions of a generation running through the spiritual web of communications, and thought like a squirrel on a fence. It all comes together eventually. Thoughts, emotions, ideas, all melding, colliding. Some say the world will not end with a bang, but with a whisper. Those morons are wrong. All thoughts, ideas, emotions morphing together in the end, the one true Big Bang.
Okay, now let's have a warm welcome for Rhonda Grace.
Okay. Well, I chose an older one, but I haven't read this one in a while. So, I'll smoke the house down with one called Smoking Hot. You're hot, like chili peppers and salsa. You're a kick-ass kind of girl. Don't take no shit. Like bullshit layered on a bagel. You're hot, smoking hot, like hot coals beneath bare feet. Rocking it hard in the free world, stiletto empowered. Smoking it on the dance floor. Life don't get any better than this. Yeah, you're smoking hot.
And next, please say hello to Josh Gaines.
Hey, you could probably hear me, right? All right. So it's really cool to be here on National Poetry Month. And so I've been trying to write extra poems this month, because it's the month. So this is one of those. This is called Remembering John Wayne. John Wayne, dead with his impacted 40 pounds of meat feces. I never liked the story. Snopes says it isn't even true. It rises in memory from some unrelated thing you say. We are arguing, having sex, talking about train lines. Maybe it's the way you say, or the way your mother tells me again why I need Jesus. Situations too. Every time I pass a burger joint, a cowboy, a graveyard that makes me think John Wayne might be buried here. It comes back today when I'm telling you the car is dead on the way from the grocery store where we charged it all, and now neither of us knows what we're going to do. The ham frozen in winter, sold on clearance, sitting on the back seat of a warming car. It's a lot of meat. Beans and rice, I say. But you're crying. And our daughter wants something new to eat. And we promised her ham because she saw the movie Ponyo, and all she wanted was to try ham. I wait with windows down for the tow truck. And the heat rising, I feel less stupid for the 10 minutes I'd stood pretending I had the option. Blocking the aisle, the glass doors on the ice cream aisle, fogged for my openings and closings. So this is, I moved here from Chicago. This is a Chicago home, called Chicago Elf. The skyscraper scaffolding, skywriting high-rise lives in the sky. The Michigan morning rolling in densest dreams over Lakeshore Drive from the lake. Around the legs of the city, covering the city damp. Cheekbones, glasses on polished stone, sweat. The lake is a graveyard, and some days the city and the lake are one. The little brown boys, white-socked and tip-capped and kicking soccer in the gate yard where the ashes of burnt downs used to be. Lawn-bearded now, like a 15-year-old in exhaust-coated grass. The toll bridges, old troll bridges, grass growing through the untrod concrete, and tolling bells of clock towers, or road crossings, or drawbridges, or funerals. Car horn trumpeting, trumpets too in the flash mob, the panhandler playing to the rush hour few who aren't rushing. Windows reflect windows and sparks, speeding, barking, clacking, raised tracks and voices. Hip-hop and purse drop as she grabs down to stop the dress swirling around her in the rush of wind. The dress was black with white dots, and when it moved in this July wave of heat, it almost looked like falling snow. Deals and no deals. Raw deals and the way she wept next to me into her gone silent cell. Surrounded and abandoned by strangers, up above the sun or moon, the few stars that poke through, the night-lit night lights of the towers, headlights the city, living city, windy because it is breathing city, inhaling the world, exhaling the ghost, sun beat, cold beat, red, blue city, heart beat city, slow beat, eternal city, eternally Arterially traveling its pathways, the train sparking across synaptic gaps, track lines growing, gnawing deep in the beat of the lake, the clawing waves who look to the city, who know the meaning of patience, who wait for the fall of brick walls close as an eyelash, barrios, bars, 24/7s blinking lit with the sidewalk smokers and the score on the wall, and everything baseball, and everything, and everything, and everything, and everything.
And he provides his own fade outs. That was next we're going to hear from Jennifer Pratt Walter.
Well, thank you, everybody. I have 2 poems to read tonight. First is called Bones. I often wish I could see my own skeleton. I'd pat the subtle acres of these cheekbones. I'd admire the pondering orbits minus their eyes. Note the radius dancing around the graceful ulna, and measure the feminine angle of the pelvic arch. I'd like to meet my bones, stepping along the street like a pale, jaunty wind chime. I'd wish them well and compliment them on their harmonious ballet. If I could just unbolt the roots and the rules of time and slide sideways until I could glance in the scant silvered mirror, I could look on myself in mute wonderment, the mysterious culmination of all the bones of my ancestors walking along inside my skin. And this last one's very short, but no less meaningful for that. I recently lost a very beloved horse, and so I wrote this poem for her. It's called Mystery to Erica. When that great red gate of your heart pressed shut, where did you go? I read your message in those last hoofprints written on the new spring grass. I saw your magic in the pale blue-white shimmering of your body just after you left your home. Even in death, your beauty was too vast to shudder. Thank you.
Thanks so much. And next we'll hear from Remy Knight.
I've only been trying to do the April thing. Why I hate math. Math is calculating and cold-blooded. His rules are hard and fast. He is the antithesis of spontaneity. Math says, do it my way, follow my rules, deviate and you die. By grade 4, long division kicked my little butt. I was not very fond of fractions either. I have a haunting vision of my mother cutting a piece of cake into 4 equal parts, measuring it carefully with the knife to appease her 4 children. To be fair, she moved like a robot. I can appreciate the need for math and exactitude by pilots and architects and those sorts, but it borders on evil when it comes to bankers and merchants. Yes, I hate math, and those are just a few of my reasons. And then when I dig through my space because I'm having some work done on the house and I'm trapped in the room with the cats, I start finding stuff, and so I ran across this, and this was a rewrite in April, it was written a long time ago. Silver Bullet Dream. Heard a song on the radio about a woman who continues to lure a man into a life of gypsy flight. In the song, she wants him to live with her in a travel trailer on a sunny beach. Friends used to tell me that I reminded them of that crazy free spirit, and I couldn't agree with them entirely, nor could I disagree. Every time I see an airstream that kind of looks like a big silver bullet, I have to yank myself back to reality. After all, it wouldn't be practical just to take off and in search of some balmy beach to camp on and while away my days. Instead, I may build a castle or treehouse or throw a birthday bash fit for a king. Being in my prime, I still have more fish to fry. I'll go in search of that fantasy later, by and by.
Thank you. And next, Herb Stokes.
Good night, sir.
But you thought I couldn't do that. Lettuce, relish, steak, date, oil nuts, prune, peas. Oh, wait a minute, that's my food shopping list. Poultry and salads. Here we go.
Where are you going?
I just want to go over. It's, I have a few poems, just a few. Well, maybe. Maybe I'll hold it. I think there's enough here that really appreciate this. I'm done. Okay. Ted Kooser is one of my favorite poets. He was a poet laureate of America and a Pulitzer Prize winner. And I like him because he also has shorter poems. Some of these guys, some people don't know when to stop. When people start to fall asleep, you know you should have ended earlier. Okay, so now this is...
Hurry up.
Don't make me nervous. This is called Fishing Reels by Ted Kooser. Shut up. You find them at flea markets and yard sales. Old South Bends and Flugers, those are names of fishing reels. With fancy engraving, knurled knobs and pearl handles, spooled with the fraying line of long stories, snarled into silence, not just exaggerated tales of walleyes, bass, and catfish, but of hard-working men who on Saturdays sought out the solace of lakes, who on weekends at desks or standing on ladders or next to chattering machines played out their youth and strength, waiting to set the hook, and then in their 60s felt the line go slack and reeled the years back empty. They are the ones who got away. This is a Guy poem here. Hold it for the end. This is called The Necktie, that's why I say it's a Guy thing. His hands fluttered like birds, each with a fancy silk ribbon to weave into their nest, as he stood at the mirror, dressing for work, waving hello to himself with both hands. And that's funny, because that's exactly how you feel. Mourners. After the funeral, the mourners gather under the rustling churchyard maples and talk softly, like clusters of leaves. White shirt cuffs and collars flash in the shade, highlights on deep green water. They came this afternoon to say goodbye, but now they keep saying hello and hello, peering into each other's faces, slow to let go of each other's hands. And here's one of mine that showed up. Slipping away. I hear you in a song I name you in the crowd. I know you when the night is long and silence is too loud. You're gone when you appear, occur when you're away. I missed you when you were still here, awaiting yesterday. Ashes, a vase on a mantle, flashing your face in my mind. Remembrance now, a lighted candle, crash into grace out of time. I'm haunted by your leaving, lost while you are hid, wounded by the misconceiving, torn by what we did. Passion for places in shambles, nearing the end of the climb. It was all too much a gamble, crash into grace out of time. Thank you.
Can't wait to read that poem under the podium. It's still there at the end of the night. I'll take it home, read the whole thing.
It's written in invisible ink.
Yes.
But it's blank, it's just blank verse.
Yeah. And next to the open mic, we have Jan Ice.
It's just a short one. It's called The Rhythm of Horses. The staccato beat of my heart is soothed by the rolling of their thunder. Energy glides swiftly down the valley. Like foam atop waves, manes fly. My heart beats in time with the pounding of hooves. Power surges beneath glossy hides. Refracted light glistens, flashing across flexing muscles. Lungs expand, nostrils flare. Sweet, warm earth perfumes the air. Grasses wave as the herd thunders by.
Our next reader was our featured reader last month, Joyce Colson.
Was this about how to understand women?
That's as far as I
Okay, I have 3. I'll do a commercial break first. Next Wednesday is my open mic poetry reading. My feature reader will be Dennis McBride. I hope he realizes he is this feature reader. This first one is called Freedom for Sale 2 for 1. It's my political poem for April. Kill the bird that mocks, slay the snake that lies, decimate the dodo that slobbers. It's worth 2 in the bush, there's an apple a day, for the slavers of freedom. The sin of regret, the arrow that missed, for the slavers of freedom. They don't want a handout for slings of misfortune, for the slavers of freedom. It's all about money. It's all about Wall Street. It's all about the illusion of freedom. And it being spring, I couldn't resist writing a poem called Spring, in which I compare it to music, called The Music of Nature. There is a sunrise somewhere that sings a song to me, and there's a sunset somewhere that sings a lullaby to me. In between, there's a day somewhere that beats an eternal rhythm. On the other side of this music, the night beats a sleepy tune. We can ask the cello of windsong, or the violin of cascading water humming, or the drums of rhyming rain, or the flutes of wailing coyotes, or the clarinets of humming birds, or the piano of silent music that nature dances with everywhere. And this one's called Dessert Connections. It's a piece of cake. Eat it too. Divide and conquer, split asunder. Under the rainbow, a rain will fall, falling in love, to love with a smile, laughing at nothing. It really is nothing. It's a piece of cake.
So last National Poetry Month, April 2013, I was fortunate to be among 85 poets who were each given one of the Pulitzer Prize-winning novels to remix. And since I'm already a person that works with found material, this was a great project for me. The only book that I knew for sure that I had read in its entirety was The Executioner's Song by Norman Mailer, which is 1,000 pages long, so I have my work cut out for me. But I had a great time. Basically what I did, and what all of us had to do, was to take the book that we had been assigned and write a poem a day during the month of April and post one each day as you went. And so I have collected those into a chapbook that's available here for $5, and I wanted to read one for National Poetry Month and to give you a sense of what's in the book, in case you might be interested. The source material, Norman Mailer, I mean, it's a book about sex and violence and also about love, and so it was a real challenge to, in working with this dark text, to find anything that was, you know, sort of closer to who I am or the things that I want to say about love, but as with any kind of found project, I was able to do that, and it was fun. It was definitely fun to do it. So just wanted to read you an example of that. I'm not really sure which one I want to read though, so someone pick a number from 1 to 30.
13.
13, okay. Hopefully not a superstitious or a superstitious poem. Okay, April 13th is called, I Want to Look at the Transcript So I Can Analyze the Intensity of the Situation. 2 high-rise buildings led to a serious, one-time-only affair. The old racist, poetic, self-destructive artist, killer Irishman movie star con. Forms of brainwash, behavior modification, lobotomy. Some new great moral complexity, the key to conformity. Motherfuckers are hopeless, unconscious, endlessly irritating, with the subtlety of a hammer. Formidably suspicious of the mystery. Hate the thought of such a trip. A total contempt for life. His life, your life, anyone's life. Ask for your liver, your spleen, your cock, your left nut. Confident, self-determined, dangerous, righteous. Try being a little more courteous. Recognition of human decency, a coherent philosophy, a pretty heavy responsibility, a small, pliable absolute. 2. It had never before occurred to him to ask her out. Might have trouble. Question the readiness of the other, spiritually or mentally. Their date was nothing exhibitionistic. Managed to show he had quite a sense of humor. Told her about Brazil. Described it as being very sexy. She had once been told she looked like a Botticelli, yet she hardly knew Botticelli's work. He loved to play with her. She experienced joy as he swallowed, hammered, and drilled. Oohed and awed, a hummingbird crying sound. Fucked more. He gave her what she needed, let her mind free. In love, she had to smile. Fools walk through time and eternity, kissing. So. The chapbook's called Brutal Glints of Moonlight. Glints of Moonlight is a phrase from Norman Mailer's book. I added the brutal because I kind of feel like that's what Norman Mailer does to us with his prose. He just kind of hammers us with his prose. But of course, you know, gave me lots of material to work with too. Now it's my great pleasure to introduce our feature